What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Mid-Hunter Comics, and I just missed out on maybe $1 million deal. So I thought I'd make a video. This was not the video I was hoping to make, but here we are. I've basically been talking with this guy and his brother since my wedding. We've been talking since June, and it's basically it's a basement full of comics. We're talking about 90,000 comics. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I am actually going to give one of my 40 purchased copies of Captain Carrot. I bought 40 copies that are all going to be for giveaways. I still have about 5 winners I need to crown from that video a couple days ago. 5 of the 10 winners were already shipped out. I told you guys that 2024 is going to be much heavier on giveaways, so make sure you're subscribed and commenting on this video. They reached out. They were interested in selling the books as a whole. Now, it was mostly 80s, but it was like complete 80s, like anything you could possibly think of. Some 90s, it dipped into the 2000s, and he actually had some copies of Ultimate Fallout 4, which were the newest book by a landslide. Clearly, they knew what that book was, and they were grabbing it up to make some profit. But there was a significant amount of Bronze Age and even Silver Age with pockets of 50s and 40s. I will go into more detail about the cream of the crop stuff as the video progresses. But anyway, I don't even need to hear which books are great to get excited about 90,000 books. Something's in there, right? And probably a decent amount of things are in there. So as a content creator and entertainer, my wheels are spinning. I'm like, oh my God. The giant caveat in that was right after the wedding, but especially now. I don't got that money, man. I want to be a big team player, but I'm not that dude right now. So I was kind of telling them, like, okay, well, your two options are I need a couple years, you know, in order to actually be able to make an offer on whatever it is that you've got. Or I have friends with deep pockets that are able to drop the money on a moment's notice as long as I vouch for it. I will get a finder's fee of sorts, or maybe some books. This is basically for anything I can't afford. Some giant collection, or maybe some mega grails that are like way out of my wheelhouse. They actually wanted to pursue that because they were talking about getting some money. Now, I set it in motion. I kept getting calls there was a time where it was almost a daily basis where I was getting calls and hearing about what was in there. And there were things that would like catch my attention, and then the next day they'd be like, all right, and this is in here, and it would just be crazy. We're talking like full runs of Marvel Spotlight, full runs of Tomb of Dracula, full run of Werewolf by Night, which you guys should know by now includes the first appearance of Moon Knight. You know, things that are a big deal. He had a full run of the Chris Claremont X-Men run. This is what we're talking about. Like, I'm sure there's lots of bulk, but there's loaded up with good books in this collection. So my excitement was at an all-time high. But when I heard that they had a significant amount of More Fun comics, if you guys know what More Fun Comics houses, you'd be excited too. They didn't have the first appearance or the second appearance or the third of Spectre. But what they did have was the first appearance of Superboy, the first appearance of Dr. Fate, and the first appearance of Green Arrow and Aquaman. So instantly, this quickly evolves from like crazy content creator, like, oh my God, this is going to be the best video on my channel, to like, okay, it's on, game face, like, here we go. You have books, not only that I and really anybody wants, but those are cream of the crop, and their rarity is pretty high. You're not going to find them. And no, they weren't in the best condition. Of course they're not going to be. Who cares? It's the first Green Arrow, the first Aquaman, you know? So immediately I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this happen, and I preferably like to get those books myself. I don't know if those books would be my finder's fee if I get my investor to buy this collection, or maybe I go around to banks and I try to see if I can get loans to buy those books outright myself. So I was kind of thinking like, okay, here I am. Here's my goal. I need those. This is crazy. And there were other things I'm sure I forgot to mention in this video, but I'm sure you can see the scope of this is entering stupid money territory, right? I say $1 million because I believe that it was $1 million collection. It's possible that it was more. We certainly got pretty close to figuring it all out, and without even being done, we were about at $1 million. So it was pretty incredible. Oh my God! Oh my God! How did I not mention this? This should be in the thumbnail, honestly. The first appearance of Wonder Woman was there. It was ratty, to say the least. It would probably score 1.5. Who cares? Okay? Who cares? That's amazing. And I already know my investor would want that book, so I guess that's why I forgot that. I didn't even have my sights on that. But yeah, you can see the tier of books we're talking about here. Anyway, you could probably tell from the thumbnail, I'm not getting these books, so what happened, right? I could kind of sense that their urge to sell the books was winding down. I would say it was at its peak in October. That's when they were calling me like every day, telling me about like, oh, check this out. Like, oh, this first appearance of Ghost Rider is actually in decent condition. We did all that. We talked about all that. We FaceTimed. We did all kinds of stuff. But I just got the call yesterday that they are going to pull out for really two reasons. One of the brothers' daughter, who's a teenager now, is showing interest in the comics. So we're talking like becoming a reader, becoming a collector, showing genuine interest in the whole field. And how can I have a problem with that, man? I love hearing about the next generation getting excited about this stuff. After all, that's what's going to keep this hobby growing. But obviously, it's a little bit of a gut punch. And then the second reason is really just they said that the market's too down. I mean, when you really think about it, if me and my investor were able to buy this in June when they first reached out to me, it would just be a different number than what he would be able to offer for the collection now. It's a completely different number. And that's because in that, what's that, 7 months? In that 7 months, books have tanked dramatically. There are books out there that are the lowest price they've been in about 10 years. We're talking like before the comic boom and everything. Not all, and frankly, mostly Marvel, but it is still, this is what we're looking at. So I think they just were not that impressed with their own research that they were finding. They were looking up, remember, this was a predominantly 80s collection, and all that modern stuff, when I say modern, I mean 80s, is tanking. It's not nearly as much money as they would have gotten for even just a little bit ago. So they actually said they want to give it 10, 15, or 20 years. So honestly, I can't blame them. I totally get it, but wow, okay. And you know what the funny thing is? Those Golden Age books that they've got, man, add another 20 years to those books, yeah, you're definitely going to be talking about crazy money. I mean, those books already are worth crazy money in a down market. Remember, the Golden Age is always the least affected by a down market. But man, I can't even imagine 20 years what some of those things would cost. So it's definitely, you know, some of this stuff, especially truly valuable gems, if you can wait, it is quite worth it. Most people don't have that luxury of waiting. They've seen all the ups and downs. They've been doing this for 30, maybe more years. They've been even doing some professional buying. They've been buying collections on their own, and so they know the ups and downs, and right now we're in a down, so they're just not interested in selling at this time. It might even become a family heirloom to the one guy's daughter. So I'm not depressed for a few reasons. Mainly, I wouldn't be the one spending on it anyway. I do not have the capital to have made an offer on that collection. It would have gone to my friend with a deep pocket. It wouldn't have even really been mine. Yeah, I would have gotten some finder's fee, but whatever. But the main thing is they told me straight up, they're like, when we want to sell this, even if it is in 15 years or whatever, you're going to be the guy we come to. So that sounds good to me. I'll be waiting, man. And lastly, they Venmo'd me $500 for my time. Yes, I did say no, no, no. We didn't even do a deal. Don't worry about it. They actually insisted they would not take no for an answer. So they did Venmo me for my time. And to be fair, a significant portion and energy of my life did go into this collection. I was very excited and did put time into it. So I appreciated that very much. But no, they didn't owe me anything. Will I be thinking about this for some time? Probably the rest of my life? Yeah, probably. But it's good to know that maybe in 15, 20 years, I might get a phone call about some pretty crazy books for sale. Okay, so even if it is just a possibility, I think that's a bright thing to look forward to for the future. But let me tell you, if you guys ever want to see a fire lit under my ass, you tell me about owning the first appearance of Aquaman and Green Arrow, you'll see me go nuts. Even just to think about it as a glimmer of hope was enough to really make me want to move mountains to make this thing happen. But I think it's just not the right time for someone to be selling such an 80s heavy collection. Ironically, the Golden Age stuff, they would have gotten great money for. But a lot of that, 80s and 90s stuff is quite low. We're talking like $50 books being sold for $15. And they were definitely feeling that they knew the market well enough that they know. So that's okay. I'm looking forward to whatever comes from this. I'm a patient man. You guys will have to subscribe to tune in 15 years from now. I might have an update. I will see you all at the next video, and keep on hunting. Make sure to come down to Sentiment Depot Antiques and Collectibles, where I'm set up with all of my comics, located at 238 West Delaware Ave, Pennington, New Jersey. Open every day except for Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy 10% off from Wednesday to Friday. See you there.